Welcome to One on One. Today we feature Major General J. Hood, Commanding General, 1st Army Division East. Listen in as he talks with our Gail McCabe about training at Fort Bragg for provincial reconstruction teams heading to Afghanistan.
I'm getting the feeling that the training that soldiers are getting here is essential, but for the future of the Afghan nation, how well they train is actually critical.
I think so, Gail. I think what we're doing here by helping train these teams to do their job better in country will allow them to more rapidly go to work in accomplishing the tasks they've been assigned, allow them to engage better with the Afghan people in the local provinces that they'll be operating in, and I think that's important. I think the secondary effect is that they'll be more effective in helping the Afghan people.
Now you train beyond Afghanistan. You also train soldiers, National Guard, for preparement into Iraq.
Yes, we do that also.
What's the more challenging?
I think they're equally challenging. There are a core set of combat skills tasks that every soldier ought to be able to perform, and that's fundamental or basic. And then I think we tailor what we're doing in Iraq based on customs and culture for what we're doing there, and then further tailor what we're doing in Afghanistan to where, in this case, the provincial reconstruction teams will actually operate. I mean, both are I don't know that I'd say that one is more challenging than the other. I will tell you that we tailor the training for where the soldiers are going.
And then in Afghanistan in particular, you are also weaving in USAID and State Department and agriculture. This interagency presence is taking place here at Fort Bragg, but also there in Afghanistan.
Exactly right. The provincial reconstruction teams in Afghanistan don't operate as a military or Department of Defense entity only. They have team members in these small teams from the State Department, USAID, from Department of Agriculture. And so what we've done is we've gone to those interagency partners and asked them to participate in our training here. Participate first off in the team building that occurs at the small unit level. And second, they bring the perspective of those other agencies to the training itself. And they've helped us in terms of writing scripts, evaluating scenarios that are executed. And so I think that brings real value.
I'm told that you bring passion to this, that you feel that this is truly a key component, having the whole team train up together. Why is it so important?
I think that's important in any military organization. Soldiers have got to feel as if they're part of a family, part of a team. And that's when they'll perform their best. I don't think it's new to soldiering that soldiers care for each other. We bring that to the training here. It's why we bring the teams together early. It's why our observer controllers and trainers actually become part of this team as they're going through their training.
The other thing that I'm seeing here is commanders that are not Army, Navy, Air Force, leading an Army team.
Well, that's right. I think it's reflective of the entire joint nature of our military departments today. I don't think that's unusual. These are some highly qualified officers. Each brings their own distinct service perspectives to it, but there's a foundation here of basic combat skills that they all learn together, and I think there's value in that.
So how long are they here going through the stress and the test?
Our soldiers, sailors, and airmen that are here are going to be here for about 60 days in this training, some a little bit longer, some a little bit less. It's interesting to note, though, that most of the leadership in these provincial reconstruction teams have already been into Afghanistan. They have met with their counterparts there. They have seen where they're going to operate, and we did that first so that they could bring back and help us in creating a realistic environment to train in.
Well, what's the end objective?
The end objective is laid out by the theater commander, and that is to establish governance within Afghanistan by the Afghan people. These provincial reconstruction teams bring or enablers to achieving that end state of governance to the people.
How is it better now, training-wise, than it was a year ago?
We clearly have made significant improvements in the sophistication of the training that the provincial reconstruction teams that you're witnessing here were able to receive, as opposed to several years ago when we just began. Like in any endeavor of this sort, we as a military organization stopped and did a very careful review after the first sets of PRT were trained, essentially did an after-action review in an attempt to see what we did well and what we could do better. And then over the last 2 years, we've set out to do things better. This year, you'll see that we have a full group of interagency players participating with us. Almost all of the training scenarios and events have been brought from the different provinces in Afghanistan. So difficult challenges that a provincial reconstruction team may encounter over the course of a year in Afghanistan, we've tried to recreate here to challenge him in a very short period of time.
What would be on your wish list? What's missing?
That's a difficult question, because I think we've got all the tools that we need to conduct a very high level of training right now for the provincial reconstruction teams we have to go into theater and do their job. Feedback, as you know, we have some of those team members who are currently serving in those positions in Afghanistan that theater commanders permitted to come back and participate in this training have told us that they believe we're coming very close to the optimum sort of training that we can get.
One final thought. You're really stressing these guys. You're really pushing them, more than perhaps they'll ever see in theater. Is it really necessary?
I think so. You don't want someone to first experience a little stress in a critical situation in which lives may be at risk in theater. We wish to replicate that as best we can here and allow the teams to work through that and learn to deal with that sort of stress long before they ever get to theater. No, I don't think so. I think they find it challenging. I think they learn from it. I think they're receptive to it, and frankly, I think the feedback we get from the PRT teams is they'd have it no other way.
You've been listening to a one-on-one with Major General Jay Hood, Commanding General, 1st Army Division East.